Hey YouTube, Hambo back again with 4 little knives that have come through recently. I haven't seen too many people talk about this first one, but just got them in, thought you'd like to take a look at them. Some of you will already know some of these knives, and then these other two, I don't know if anybody's had much experience. First one is something I've actually been EDCing for the last couple of days. This is by Smith & Wesson, and it's a very basic knife, okay? This hasn't got a lot of flash or anything else to it, but I will tell you this. It's extraordinarily affordable. Okay, this knife right here, complete, was about 12 bucks. Usually that means cheap. Well, okay, this isn't a K-bar, okay, or a cold steel, but for an EDC, when you want to carry something a little bit larger than a standard folder, it's not bad for one big reason. The sheath is actually, even though it's ballistic nylon and it tends to get worn out, the sheath actually is pretty well done. First of all, it's got a plastic holster wrapped in the ballistic that holds the knife very well. But the big thing I like about this is the fact that either you can use the vertical belt loop and hang it vertically, or it has these 2 side mount loops that allow you to carry this horizontally along your belt line or on a pack or whatever. And this actually holds up really well. I've been carrying it in the horizontal capacity, and it fits along the belt line under the shirt really well. Very easy to access, and I just like it. Anyway, the blade itself is called the GUIDEMASTER Wide Blade. There it is. Now, it came with a flimsy green shoestring wrap that was then forced through the hole there, and I'll tell you, it was loose and it just was not good. So I did what I usually do. I got rid of the cheap paracord. Instead of putting paracord on it, what I did was I just took a piece of small racing tire bicycle inner tube and slid it right on, and it fits perfectly, and it gives you exactly the kind of traction you need to handle this. Got good wide jimping on the top for control, fairly wide blade. I've actually done a little batoning with this. I don't have the camera, it's only me, and I can't do the batoning because I haven't got a tripod that'll work outside. So just trust me when I tell you, it handled the batoning with absolutely no problem, as you would expect from a full tang, solid piece, no frills piece of metal. All right, it is their CKGMF grade stainless steel. It holds up well. It does show some marks, especially with the compression hold on the sheath, but it's holding the edge fairly well. It's very easy to sharpen, as you can imagine, with the wide blade. The thing I like about it is the fact that, besides being my favorite, which is a drop point, it is a fairly wide piece of steel, and that's just it. It's just a flat hunk of metal with an edge on it, and that makes it extraordinarily useful and extraordinarily adaptable to whatever you need. And it's very lightweight. This is only a couple of ounces. I put the usual tie on the end. It's already becoming frayed. I'm going to have to work on that, but I've used it in a couple of different applications. The rubber does, this would actually work without even anything on it at all, but as we live in a fairly moist climate here in Virginia, sometimes if you had to pull this in the rain or in a wet situation, it handles very, very well. And the sheath, like I said, very heavy ripstop nylon in a weave, bolted into this plastic sheath that holds the blade very, very well and very tightly. Let's undo this first. It's the only part I don't like, and I'll explain that in a second. But anyway, blade fits very, very well, pushes in tight, holds it very well, it's not going to fall out. And then of course you've got this strap across the top, and this is the part I don't like. They didn't measure well. Okay, this strap is way too long for the handle. It wraps way too far over, and you're only getting partial contact on the Velcro. Okay, in order to make it work better, you have to back it off and consciously made it up so that area matches area, and then you've got a good hold, but it's loose. Okay, so that's probably going to come off in the future. It's only held on by a couple of stitches anyway. And the knife will work fine without it. I mean, it can carry, it can do all the things you need it to do without that, but I may end up doing a paracord, punch a hole in there and do a small paracord wrap or something. Just something to hold it down, but right now that Velcro on the end of this nylon web strap is just way too big. I mean, look, let's see if we can show this. Look at the gap there. Okay, easily put your finger through it. If you wrap it down tight against the blade, you got a problem. Even with the cord wrap, it was still way too loose. Now this, I'm not sure. The girlfriend says, well, it can hook up with something else that has buckles on it and hold it, but I don't know. I mean, it looks nice, doesn't make too much of a noise, and it does give you a hold if you want to loop something underneath it with a molly wrap maybe. But I'm thinking molly stitching would have been better than this buckle. But again, for the price, for the durability, I mean, with minimal care, this knife is going to last a very long time. As I said, as of right now, I've used it a few times. It's holding the edge very well, and it's fairly well balanced. So that's the Smith & Wesson GUIDEMASTER wide blade. Put that there. The next two, I know you've all seen before. I finally got my two little Sanrenmus in. Is that how you pronounce it? Sanrenmu? I think so. But this is the 710 in basically just stainless. Very, very solid little folder. Okay. I really like this knife. The edge is amazing. It's got that deep grind on it. It's a very simple, basic little EDC carry knife. And again, this was like $7. And it's just very basic. No pretenses, no frills. Doesn't try to be anything it's not supposed to be. That's just a little engraving on the side, and I even left the belt clip on, which you know is unusual for me. But then the other one that I have been carrying for a while and also trying out is the 763, and I know some of you already have this too with the G10 scales. And again, identical blade. I mean, basically it is the same blade. But you can see there is a slight difference that this is a little deeper on the 763 and a little bit deeper bend to the drop point. So a little bit thicker of a blade, but not by very much. They're exactly the same length. And this has the A-lock on it, which I really like. So it's really solid and full, and it just comes right back without a problem. And of course this one I did take the belt clip off, but it's got more than enough jimping, little lanyard hole there to give you enough control on the knife. And again, even for hands my size, the knife controls very well. So the Sanrenmu 763 and the 710, two very welcome additions to my kit. And finally, the last one was actually given to me by a friend who knows I collect knives. I don't know where they found this, but I've seen it on eBay. I looked it up. This is another one of the Magnum series by Boker. And this is their 8040. I forget the actual name of this, but it's kind of unusual in the fact that they say this is a wooden handle. If it is, it's very heavily laminated because it feels like plastic. They may just mean it's wood tone. But in any case, it's not that uncomfortable. What I really like about this is the blade. Okay, it's actually a little under 3 inches long. Very nice spear point on it. And I like the ratio of handle length to blade length because it gives me and my paws more than enough room to hold on to it and be able to use the knife as needed. Okay, the blade is up to their standards. It's just simply 440 coated in black, but with a liner lock. The only thing that's missing on this knife is there's no jimping at all. But then again, as a simple carry, it's got a nice little lanyard hole there. But very, very solid. Again, like all three of these little folders. The blades are very well set and locked in. Nice full steel frame on that. Not aluminum, that's steel. But it is a full frame with the scales. But the jury's out on these scales. They feel like plastic. They probably are, but it doesn't look all that bad. But that's it. It's the Magnum 8040, BOM 8040 folder. I don't know what they paid for this, but it probably wasn't much. The two Sanrenmus, and the one I'm really liking. Cheap, but basic. And if you're just looking for something really cheap and basic that's going to hold up, just a solid slab of steel, I really have to tell you to try this out. It's the Smith & Wesson GUIDEMASTER wide blade. They make a narrower blade. This is the wide one. And I'll tell you something, for prying, digging if you had to, batoning, whatever you need to do, for the price, I think it's a winner. Alright, that's it. Just 4 brand new ones. See you later.